All right, y'all, it is SmackDown time. Now, the biggest thing that was going for SmackDown definitely was the Mrs. promo to Daniel Bryan. The only thing I kind of wish is that it reiterated it a little bit more with Daniel Bryan and The Miz instead of having Dolph Ziggler come out. Now, Dolph Ziggler, of course, has really great promos, really great matches, but something tells me at Backlash, more than likely these two are going to meet. The Miz is actually starting to become more relevant by the day. And the one concern that I had was the fact that Maurice was going to be his entire gimmick, and there was really nothing interesting about The Miz to care about. But now The Miz actually does have a valid point. He's had a lot of people pretty much criticizing him, myself included, about him not being a really good IC champion and not doing anything for the belt. Now, for the fact that he was able to not be injured and have a decent career without injury is a feat. And it actually is pretty good. The only problem is that he doesn't wrestle in a lot of matches. But other than that, I love this promo. He had a valid point, and it was a great way to start off the show. I just wish Daniel Bryan actually did have a retort, and he went out there and spoke on behalf, not on behalf, but spoke out there to The Miz in front of everybody, and just to reiterate what he said and what he really meant in a very, I guess, maybe PC sort of way. But unfortunately, we got Dolph Ziggler instead. Now, I'm still I still wish that Daniel Bryan was out there instead of Dolph. But like I said before, it's going to set up something for Backlash. Now, the matches themselves weren't that bad, but I don't know. It doesn't really give me hype for the pay-per-view. But the one thing I will say that I like is the tag team tournament, because they're really putting a lot of emphasis on Heath Slater and how Heath Slater has to win. The interview that he had with Renee Young was hilarious. He had, of course, he was in a trailer park with a double wide trailer, and his wife, as well as his, I guess, his play, I don't know, his fake wife with Rhino, and them eating Cheese Whiz and crackers and Vienna sausages. I thought it was hilarious. I loved that segment. And the fact he was like, it's like, all you have to go meet my kids. You should meet our kids. Oh, what are they at school? Say, oh no, they're out back picking up bottles and cans. I'm like, oh my gosh. If he brought in his kids and we were able to see all 9 or 10 of his kids, I would laugh. I mean, that would be the crowning achievement of this entire moment, seriously. But they really are putting a lot of emphasis on Heath Slater. I think it's great on how they're making him a babyface because he is pretty much an underdog. It's nice for him to be able to find a tag team partner in Rhino. And then I don't know what happened to Rhino's face during the match. I mean, good grief. His face was like cut pretty bad, like I think above the eye. And he just kept going. But the fact he didn't have a referee stop the entire match, and he just continued, but he tried to keep it from bleeding too much. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. It didn't take too much out of the match, and I enjoyed it. I haven't seen the Headbangers in years. Good grief. I mean, they were around since the Attitude Era. It's been years. I forgot all about them. But it was nice to actually see the Headbangers out there. But when I did see that the Headbangers were in the tournament, that told me right then and there who was going to win. Seriously. I want Heath Slater to have a legit win. Not like how it was on Raw last night, but I am not going to rant about that anymore. I got everything out last night. I am not going to do it again. But other than that, I will say that I would like Heath Slater to have a very good win, a clean win, to show that this guy really earned it, which is what the whole purpose of this storyline is, to show that Heath Slater is worth something. So I'm hoping that he actually does win. If he does win, he'll have a completely clean finish. I'm hoping for that, but I am not sure if that's going to even happen. But either or, moving on down the line, we did have a women's title match. Well, not a women's title, but we did have a women's match tonight. Of course, you have the usual heels, Alexa Bliss and Natalya. Well, the only 2 heels that they have, versus Naomi and Becky Lynch. And then you had Nikki Bella at ringside, pretty much doing commentary. Honestly, it's nice to see Nikki out there. I would love to see her perform more. Maybe she's not completely ready to go out there yet, but it'll be nice to see exactly her, not only just having her return match to SummerSlam, but to have continuous matches. It would be nice to see a little bit more of that. But I'm not gonna lie, I love Naomi's entrance, but good gravy does it last too long. Like, seriously, it should just be a few moves, that's it. It seems like it takes literally 5 to 10 minutes for her to get to the ring with her day glow stuff. I love her day glow, little hyped up in the glow, whatever you call them, attire outfit. I love it. I love her new entrance, but it just takes too long. I'm hoping that they shorten it down. She finds a way to get people interested and then just keeps it moving. I'm hoping that's how it's going to be. For me, I guess I just don't have a lot of patience, and I should, but I just don't have a lot of patience for Naomi's entrance. But it is clever, and I like the new babyface version of her. Becky Lynch, I want Becky Lynch so bad to win, and I'm happy she went back to her old steampunk ring attire. I miss her old steampunk ring attire. I don't necessarily like the whole leather bra thing that she always wears. I like her ring attire that was steampunk. I'm happy she brought that back. But I'm hoping that one day that she's going to have one of the best wins she can ever have. But I actually did talk about talk about this subject with my friend Prince, Laurel, and Mr. Irvin. Well, Mr. Irvin, but Irvin Griffin. The one thing that we actually do believe and we all agree on is that Becky Lynch needs to have a really good heel to go up against. At this point, there's not really a good heel. There's not really a lot of heels around. We only have 3, and one being the top one that's not there. But other than that, I'm hoping that someday she's going to have a good win. The match wasn't that bad. But honestly, I don't know. I never thought the heel was going to get over again. But even if it did, it didn't really matter that much to me. But the one match I really never expected that would ever happen was AJ Styles versus Apollo Crews. Now, Apollo Crews, he's getting better. I'm giving credit what credit's due here. I know I've been saying that this guy is the blackest vanilla black man on the planet. Well, he's the most vanilla black man on the planet. I've admitted that. I've said that many times. But he is starting to impress me. He's getting a lot better on the mic. He's starting to develop a little bit of a personality. And his in-ring skills are improving. I am happy to see a lot of improvement. The fact he went up against AJ Styles and looked decent is good. And it shows that he is definitely getting the encouragement as well as the training that he needs to look better in the ring. And he's starting to get used to it. He's starting to get the hang of it, and you can tell. And I think that was a pretty good match. It was a pretty good match for Apollo Crews. I never expected him to be with AJ, but other than that, AJ Styles makes everyone look good. And he made himself look good as well as making Apollo Crews look good. And I think that was excellent. But down the line, them other matches were kind of somewhat forgettable. But I wasn't really expecting the main event being that decent. Like, I honestly thought that it was going to be one-sided. And I'm just going to skip everything else and go straight into Baron Corbin versus Dean Ambrose. And I'm just doing match-wise. I really did not expect Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin to be a decent match. I thought it was going to be a squash match. Bim, bam, boom, done. I thought that's how it was going to be. But I was wrong. I mean, Baron Corbin was able to hold his own against Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose is all over the place usually. So the way he was able to strong arm Dean Ambrose made Dean Ambrose look like he had to work in the match. I like that. It was pretty enjoyable. It was a decent match. I was very surprised by how good that match was, especially how they've been treating Baron Corbin as of late. But it was really good. I'm hoping that we'll actually see a little bit more of a push coming from Baron Corbin. But I don't know when that's going to be. But that was a pretty good match, and I think they did a good job. But other than that, the segment that I kind of do want to talk about definitely is Bray Wyatt's segment with Randy Orton. That was a very good segment. Even though not Dean Ambrose, but even though that Bray Wyatt, unfortunately, doesn't win a lot of matches, he still commands a lot from the crowd without asking. The guy can come out literally be completely dark, little fireflies everywhere, and everybody literally just interacts with him. And even though you have the what chants, even though you have the hecklers, in the end, he can command respect from the crowd without having to win a lot of matches. That is a rare trait for any wrestling character to have. Seriously, he can still be over without winning. That is rare. And the fact that he's going up against Randy Orton, I am hoping that they do the right thing and actually have Randy Orton put Bray Wyatt over. But I am not sure how that's going to happen, especially how Randy Orton got his head busted open by Brock Lesnar. So I really don't know how that's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to go. But I'm really hoping that somehow Bray Wyatt is able to mess with the head of Randy Orton, even though his head is supposedly have voices and his head's already messed up. But I would honestly like somehow for him to further get in the head of Randy Orton and completely screw it up. Or actually have him win at Backlash. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen either. Because even though Bray Wyatt does not have to win a match, he still needs to win something in order for the fans to actually have a little bit of respect for him. Even though he can command a lot from the crowd, there's only so much you can do before everything that you say becomes empty words. So I'm hoping that he's going to actually win at Backlash. And the banter between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt was actually really good. I was really impressed with both of them. I mean, of course, Bray Wyatt is really great on the mic. Randy's all right. But other than that, it was a pretty good back and forth. I really did enjoy that, and that was a really great segment for me. But other than that, guys, my overall thoughts of SmackDown is this. They didn't really do anything for Backlash. They talked about Backlash multiple times, but you don't really feel like they're building up to Backlash. And if it's a week from Sunday, they have a lot of planning to do. I do believe that Backlash is a week from Sunday, and I also think that Raw is behind them with Clash of Champions. I could be wrong. It could be in reverse. But other than that, the whole purpose of this is to build up your pay-per-views and to make you interested on what's going on. They did a great job and actually did promoting the six women match for the women's title, for the SmackDown women's title, as well as doing well with making the tag team tournament seem legit. Not only legit, but just seem like it has a lot of importance. They did a real good job in promoting their new belts, but now they need to start promoting their pay-per-view. We don't really have any matches that are, not matches, but any feuds that are fixed towards Backlash, and that's what they need to work on. They need to do something to promote the pay-per-view and to actually make you want to watch the pay-per-view. They did an excellent job promoting their belts, but they need to start working on their pay-per-view. But other than that, guys, this wasn't a bad SmackDown, but I am hoping that someday, practically next week, they'll actually start promoting Backlash a little bit more. Because if they have another week from Sunday to promote Backlash, I hope they just don't rush the thing, because I really do want Backlash to be good. Just saying. But guys, I want to hear your overall thoughts. What do you think about the SmackDown? What do you think about the belts? Do you think they're putting the belts under a major importance? Or do you think that, they're not really doing much with them? And also the Miz's promo. What do you think about the Miz's promo? Do you think that he's a really great IC champion? I want to hear y'all's thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. As for my personal thoughts on the Miz, I don't think he's doing much for the belt, but his promo shows that he is actually relevant without having someone on his arm. So Maurice doesn't have as much of an importance to the Miz anymore as he did when she first came back. But that's just me. That's my thoughts. And I'm hoping that Maurice actually starts wrestling again, but I doubt that. But other than that, guys, I want to hear your thoughts. Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.